Hi, I'm Devonté Hynes. Come under the cover with me.
Under the cover.
At Climax Books. When I'm working on an album for myself, I tend to kind of surround myself with a lot of images, usually photo books, but also non-fiction, usually. Things that are in line with what I'm trying to explore. It's almost like I'm studying for the album. And yeah, and actually it usually finds its way inside, whether it's lyrically or image-wise. Sometimes it ends up falling into artwork or in as inspiration for videos. This is a biography of Jacqueline Dupre, who was an incredible English cellist. Cello was the first instrument I ever learnt, and she was the first cellist I ever truly loved and gravitated towards. There's an incredible performance that used to get played on the BBC of her performing an Elgar concerto. You should look it up, it's incredible, and it blew me away. Sadly, she didn't perform for too long and passed away quite early, but this is a big one. Growing up, I spent a lot of my time in libraries, in Goodmayes Library and Ilford Library. It's exactly the same actually, and my family will often joke about that, but I spent a lot of time taking books out. A lot of my music knowledge is also from libraries because I used to rent the CDs out and then burn the CD and then give it back. And so, yeah, it's exactly the same. It's been some years now, but I do still own from when I first moved to New York. I have a couple, I mean, I don't know, I should admit this, but maybe it's over now, but I have a few Leonard Bernstein books from the New York Public Library from when I was 22. I kind of make and take information in the same as I did when I was younger, and everything I make is based on this place of I don't know, I like to call it like having posters on the wall, that idea of something that you're so enamored by that you're influenced by it, but you almost want to make something that could even stand close to it in your own mind. So yeah, I have pretty much the exact same relationship I had when I was younger with books. This is a book on John Constable, who is an English painter from Suffolk from the late 18th century. And a lot of the album that I've been working on is mainly about Essex, which is where I'm from in England, and trying to find the beauty in it. And Constable, who was a romantic painter, painted a lot of very beautiful landscapes of Essex, which, if you know of Essex, is not something that comes to mind when you think of it. But as I've gotten older, I've been trying to find the beauty in where I'm from. So yeah. Next up is his Passages by Chantal Akerman, a filmmaker that is very influential to me. I love her so much, and I love specifically her more experimental work and more of her art films. And this book collects a lot of images of these along with essays. A lot of her work, especially towards the end, was dealing with her relationship with her mother, which is another big theme with the record I've been working on. So this has been a big influence. This is Roman Poems by Pasolini, a collection of his poems. Pasolini, who I think maybe most people know as a filmmaker, but was also an incredible author and poet. And this book, actually, over the last few years, I traveled around with a lot. If I'm working and traveling, I tend to have a collection of books in rotation that I bring with me for wherever I set up, but this one was always there and was a very big influence. A bit of both with in regards to music informing visual, visual informing music, and sometimes actually I didn't do it with this album, but there's been albums before where I've made videos for songs that aren't finished, and then that's informed me in finishing the song. So this time it didn't quite happen, but the last two albums that happened, like they kind of help inform my brain with like where I need to go musically. The artwork actually for the first single that I put out for this album, the song's called The Field, and it's the artwork is a Constable painting. This is a collection by Deana Lawson, who is an incredible photographer, highly influential, and I think ahead of her time. I had the pleasure of meeting her many years ago, and she was kind enough to let me use this image for artwork for one of my albums called Freetown Sound. Similar to what I was saying before, when I was working on that album, I was looking at a lot of her art and a lot of her books. And so, yeah, it meant a lot to me, and I was deeply honored that she allowed me to use the image. But she's forever someone I look to. I remember I managed to find a pamphlet for a show she did rather than a book. And then I started looking stuff more up online, and then I got in touch with her because I was such a big fan and wanted to work with her. And initially thought maybe it would be video based, but we both were pretty bad at staying in touch. And eventually the image that became the album cover was the one that I just kept looking at. It's the one I kept gravitating towards. It was the page that was open the whole time I was recording, and it just felt like it's an unbeatable image. And so yeah, she was gracious enough to let me use it. This is one of my favorite books ever. Maybe one of the books I've read the most in my life. Maybe Shelley's Frankenstein or The Modern Prometheus, which is the full title. This book is so beautiful. I feel like it's one of the, there's certain stories in the world that have somewhat been bastardized by its use of being IP. And I feel like this is one of them, because the actual book is so intense and heartbreaking and deals with loneliness and life and God and family. This is Who Are You, Dorothy Dean? It is a collection of essays, letters, writings by Dorothy Dean, who was kind of a overlooked figure in the Warhol scene. Black woman who was incredibly witty and was actually in a lot of Warhol films. My dear friend Anais has an incredible publishing company called Editions 1989, and she put this book together. She edited this book and released it, and it's absolutely incredible. So I recommend everyone get this and look into this.